I didn't know what it was that when I was writing, but I was interested in this guy who works in Japan Foundation, a real guy. His name is Yoshioka, and we based Kenji on him. That, you know, sort of a good-looking guy, young guy, works there quietly. And I thought, what would Yoshioka be at home, right? And that would become Kenji, in one sense. And my kind of amateurish opinion about Japanese people, that they're so neat and they're so clean and all that. There was one time, I think 3 years ago, I wrote this script, about 3 years ago. And I was talking to friends. For some reason at the time, I was always tired every day. I was traveling a lot with my second film. It was called 69. And after the film, I travel a lot with the film to festivals and things. And at the same time, I felt so guilty taking 1 year off to make that film. So I had to come back and shoot many commercials, TV commercials for the company that hired me. So I had to travel a lot, preparing all the commercials, shooting all the commercials. So I was very tired at that time. And I talked to a few friends, like, are you all tired? Like, why are we so tired? And they all felt the same way. And we thought, why are we so tired? And then we thought maybe the world was spinning really fast. Because, well, you come home, you know, you check your emails. And then the TV is on, you're also watching TV, and I don't know, and then you do something else, and the radio is on. So there's so many things happening in life today that you become, you have this fatigue that you don't know what the reason is. And then jokingly, one of my friends said that, I think we all should die. If we're dead, we're perfect. You don't have to answer your phones, you know, you don't have to check your emails. So it'd be so relaxed, you know, it'd be like death would be perfect for us now, you know, we should die, you know. Well, I don't want to die, but you know, but actually what he said was quite right, you know. It would solve all the problem, you know.
僕の名前はケンジです。そしてこれは今から3時間後の僕の姿かもしれない。
Those dark black elements, they were more or less mine in the beginning. In the beginning, there was a lot more of those, and that's why I didn't want to do the film. When I finished the script, I didn't want to do the film, and then I went to make Monrak Transistor instead, because I felt that my script was a lot like my previous film, you know, in terms of the same scale, as this kind of black humor element and things. But Pravda turned it into a mood piece. He turned it into a more detailed piece. He took a lot out and then extended those little elements. After I worked with him, you know, I started to realize that he's more of a Hemingway than me. He's very organized. He's very disciplined. He's very prolific. You know, in 1 month he has 2 books out and 2 novels, and he also writes some short stories, and he also writes columns in like different magazines, and he edits one magazine himself, you know, which is like one of the best magazines in Thailand. I remember when he wrote the first draft to me, he gave it to me not in a screenplay form. He didn't know how to write a screenplay. He never wrote one, so he gave me like more like almost like a novel, a short story, kind of 30 pages kind of thing. And there was one scene which really struck me, was that he wrote one scene, went on for about 7 pages or 5 pages, and I said, I mean, you can't film this. This is not a film, you know. People, just this guy walking around, you know, and examining the house, you know, like in real detail, when Noi is away, you know. And then, I mean, come on, Pramda, you can't film this. This is not a film, you know. But then I went home, and it struck me that this is the reason I want to make this film, is because I want to see if I would make a mess of it. I really want to film that 7 pages, you know, and make sure that you can watch it. I thought that would be the challenge for us to go out and do, you know. And I couldn't do it alone. You know, I needed Chris, you know, I need his cinematography. I need someone as watchable as Asano. With Asano in the role, you keep watching. Even when we were shooting, I didn't want to cut. You know, I just want to watch him. You just want to watch him because strange. And I remember a Japanese journalist asked him in Venice that, you know, what did he find in the script that made him wanted to do it, you know. And he said he didn't really understand the film. He didn't really understand the script of the film or what Panic was trying to do. He had absolutely no idea. But for him, he thought Kenji was quite interesting. And the way he prepared for the role was very interesting. Because I didn't know Asano that well, you know. I remember I asked Miike Takashi a bit when I met Miike in Tokyo, that, you know, because Miike just shot Ishi the Killer with him. So I thought, you know, Miike, tell me, you know, what do I have to know about Asano, you know, to direct him and things. And Miike told me that actually you don't have to do much because Asano spent most of his time rejecting script. I mean, he gets like hundreds of scripts every year. And Asano doesn't want to act. You know, it's not the life he likes, to be an actor or to be a star. He doesn't like. He's a musician. He wants to be. He has a band, a really fabulous band called Peace Pills, you know, and that's what he loves to do. But he acts because of money. You know, he has to earn money, and he can earn a lot of money. And if Asano say yes to a script, it's pretty much done. Miike told me that. And the way he prepared was very strange. I remember I bought 12 outfits and sent to him. These are the outfits of Kenji. And like 3 weeks before we started filming, we sent it to him in Japan. Because I don't like new clothes. Especially in the film, you know, you want the clothes to look like it belongs to that person. So I said, you know, wear these in the 3 weeks. Wear them and take care of them yourself. You know, you wash them yourself. But before you do that, when you receive these outfits, please wear them and take a shot and send it to me. Send the shots to me so I know which one works, which one doesn't work, and what the combination would be and what you would look like. And I sent 12 outfits, but I got 4 pictures back. So he wear 4 outfits, his own combination that he picked. And he said the other 8 were not right, were not Kenji. So that's why in the film there was one day he had to wear Noi's father's clothes because we didn't have enough clothes because Asano only wants to wear 4. Now it's clear to him that it's actually a self-discovery film. You know, that Kenji actually goes through this journey and then, you know, find something in the end. Oh, he's fearless and he can do anything. If you watch a film called Focus, you know, there's one film called Focus about 5 years ago. I watched the film and I was so impressed with the film. It's a Japanese film. But I didn't know it was Asano. And then, you know, when my friends heard that Asano was going to be in our film, you know, and this girl said that, oh, have you seen Focus, you know? And I said, yeah, but Asano is not in that film. Which part? She said, no, it's the guy, it's Asano, the lead guy. I said, no, it cannot be. And then I went back to watch the film again, and it's him. So that really amazes me, that you can't recognize him, you know. So he's fearless. I think the suicide thing with Kenji is not, I don't think he really wants to die. It was more like, until now I'm not even sure why he wants to do that, but it's almost like he read one too many books he doesn't have any friends. So it was more, his attempt to kill himself is more like I want to feel what it's like what death is like, But you can tell in the film that he doesn't have the will to die, It's not. Well, he said it right off in the beginning that he didn't have a money problem, this not broken heart, not all those things that people kill themselves for, For him, it was more like maybe he thought death would be kind of like a nap, and that you come round again, quite fresh, and you live again, So I don't think it was. I think it was in line with his character, with all the things he does, the obsession with cleaning, and everything has to be perfectly arranged, and the suicide thing that he was always attempting. I think they were pretty much the same thing. And Noi is a combination of the few girls that I've known in my life. Like the bra would be on top of the TV, and the underwear would be in the kitchen. And I've known a few girls. I've lived with a few girls that are a combination of that becomes Noi. And then I thought, well, let's make a movie where these two extreme kind of learn about each other, that maybe there's something in the middle that actually makes life quite happy. If you're too intelligent, sometimes life becomes a bit too difficult, because it's hard to be satisfied with everything when you're too intelligent, or when you're too far above other people. So it's like the girl. The interesting thing about Noi is that she's the kind of girl who probably doesn't read. She reads magazines, maybe gossip magazines, in the toilets, and she doesn't have the capacity to intellectualize things, to analyze things, to think in that sense. But what is great about her is that she's real. She's a real person. Life is here, she's here, and they go poof. And when she's happy, she laughs like mad. When she's unhappy, she cries like mad. And I mean, personally, in my personal life, I envy these kind of people, because they live. They don't calculate, they don't. This film is a film that, the first time in my life that I said, I'm going to find the film along the way. I'm going to have a dialogue with the film. I'm going to listen to the film. I'm not going to order the film to be this and that, And the switching of the two sisters at one point was not in the script. It came about one night. One day we had a very bad day. Nothing went as planned, and we didn't achieve what we wanted, and the shots that we did were not particularly interesting, and so it was not a very good day that day. The actors were not on forms, and you have some days like that when you were shooting, and that day was quite frustrating to me. I remember there was a day that Asano and I also had an argument, and he was a bit pissed off with me because he had to eat so much of the noodles or whatever. So it was not a good day that day. And at night, when we went back to the hotel, and Chris and I, we were drinking, by the pool, and that came as a joke, that what if Kenji started killing the sister, what if he put the pillow on the sister's face, and she's dead, what do we? And then I said, what if he put the pillow on the sister's face, and he take out the pillow, it becomes a younger sister. So it started out almost like a joke, but we didn't laugh. We thought it's not bad actually. Then we start thinking about it, to place it into the context of the film, and then we thought, let's do it. So we call up the producer and say, we have to get back the girl again, because the younger sister is a very famous actress in Thailand, so her schedule is really hectic. You can't just get her, like, come to the shoot tomorrow. You cannot, So it was a big headache for the producers. They have to rearrange her schedule again and things like that. But we did it. Well, some people didn't think it worked. Anyway, some people thought it was a bit pretentious and things. I had no way out of it. I shot it like that. we had the good fortune of shooting the film almost in sequence. I mean, not many films get to do that. But the fact that the film the big chunk of the film happens in that one house, we don't have to move location, and it only happens between two actors. And the actor is always there with you every day. The house is always there. So we shoot according to the script, to get the mood built up. In the beginning, they're still strangers, and they become more and more intimate. Every day, you hear Kenji always talked about the younger sister. Like, you don't go to the hospital for your sister's body. Onoi say, tonight you can sleep in my sister's bedroom. And so you hear the references to the younger sisters all the time. So I thought, let's bring her back, And I mean, in real person, that actress she's really sexy and really cute. And so Chris and I, being like dirty old men, we thought, let's get her back, She's really sexy, and yeah, so let's get her back, but this time let's get her back without her mum, because the mum always comes to the shoot, right? So and every day, Chris and I will always have to fight, like, who takes the mum and who takes the young girl, So. Well, look at the love that Noi has in her life, that guy who beats her, right? And that, to her, that's love. I mean, she hung around this guy, right? And you look at Kenji. He's so loveless and sexless, to the point where, for me, both of them, for the both extremes, actually, companionship is probably perfect. If you want to describe ideal condition of both characters, if they can find companionship, that is probably much better than love. I don't know, maybe after the film finish, it becomes, I mean, if the story continues, it could be love, Norma Desmond's house.
Is it Norma Desmond's house? Really?
The swimming pool is very Sunset Boulevard. Yeah. That house is like a different universe. Well, that part of the film is the film, when you saw it on script, on the pages, it was quite clear to us that the film is actually a three-part film. You have the first part, before they go to the house, the introduction of Kenji and Noi. And the last part, where the Yakuza comes and look for him, And you have this middle part, right? So it was quite clear that we have a film in our hands where you have a meat here and you have a bookend, the two bookends. And for me, the middle part was the part where it was changing all the time. When we were scouting for location and shooting, that was the part where it kept changing every day. We didn't have much of a clear idea what to do there, because when we wrote the script, we haven't found the house. There was no pool in the script, there was. So when we found the house, when I found the house with Chris was in Bangkok for about 1 week. At that time, he went to do some grading on some, I don't know what film he did. And so he spent a lot of time with me going outside of Bangkok looking at different places. And when we found this house, I remember we would come back, we picked Chris up in the morning in his hotel like 9 o'clock, and we'd go all day. And then we come back at 11, which is hard work, long day. I dropped him off, I was going to go home, and then he would say that, what are you doing? I said, I'm going home. He said, no, don't go, stay. So we went to a bar. Of course, Chris drinks all day, right? So we went up into the bar in his hotel until 3 o'clock in the morning, talking about what we saw today and what could be developed. And we talked more and more about the script every day, and it changed every day. I mean, I got back home at 3 o'clock. I couldn't go to sleep because of all the things that we talked about. So I would start writing from 3 until like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I would email to him and then go to bed and end. And then when I wake up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I would get a call from Chris saying that he read already what I emailed this morning. So let's meet and work again. So it was like that for about 3-4 days, and that's where the script, that's where the house became clear to us that it's not just a house, it's a character. But when we found this house, I was a bit unsure because I thought it was too big. But Chris loved it. He loved it very much, and as we talked every day, we had an idea that, okay, maybe why don't we change the script? The house can be big because it has been passed down by, her dead parents or whatever. We never knew, but so we have this great big house, but she would spend her life in this one little corner, and then we thought we'd make the whole house with covered in dust, because only from where she spends her life in the sofa area to the toilet that you would have footprints to go. And so that house actually gave us a lot more possibilities and a lot more ideas than the original script that we had. If you ever film with Japanese, doesn't matter actor or crews, or if you have some producers as Japanese and things. With this film we experience everything. We have a Japanese cast, right? We also shot some in Japan with Japanese crew, and we also have Japanese investors, and we have Japanese translators and producers. It's the same, because the Thai ways we make films, we're very casual. You can take 2 hours lunch, doesn't matter if the food is good. And Thai film shooting, I think I can say that we probably have the best catering in the world, because we have Thai food every day, and it's real cooking. We have cooks come and cook every day on set, every meal. We don't eat lunch boxes because it's very uncivilized. And Thai food, you can't eat lunch box really. It's not good. So people will get panicked when they take 1.5 hour lunch. The Japanese get very panicked, or the Japanese always want to know everything 2 days in advance. How many shots do we do for this scene? And I said, I have no idea. So the Japanese part of filmmaking is really clashes with the Thai part of filmmaking. Where we're so relaxed. Chris is from Hong Kong. Hong Kong filmmaking is like no schedule, no plans, no plans. We shoot as fast as we can, Chris is so impatient about, like on my film, Chris never has to edit a film, because he's a cinematographer. He shot the film and he goes on to shoot the next Jang Yimou, But me, I have to edit the film, and the nightmare, the biggest nightmare when you edit a film is bad sound. That is the most, it's just not pleasant to edit, really. So my film is that after my second film, I said, from now on when I make film, I really want the best. And my sound man is the best sound man in Thailand. Everyone knows that when they work on my film, the sound has to be so clean, right? So even though we shoot in a house, the traffic has to be blocked 3 miles around the house, So we can put all those wave sound in and things like that, right? So Chris doesn't know this. He's so what is wrong? What is wrong? How come we're not rolling? How come we're not rolling? How come we're not rolling all the time? And he always get really frustrated, because he wants to shoot 55 shots a day. And the wave sound that is put in throughout the middle part, it become part of the film that you don't even hear it anymore. We had a big problem with that. It's I think the guy he went back and re-recorded about, 25 times. Because you wanted a certain kind of sea, certain kind of waves. I had a certain idea in mind with my editor when we were editing the film that it has to be the distance between one wave to the next is quite crucial. I mean, it sounds really, really anal now talking about things like that you don't even notice. And I'm not a perfectionist, I'm not that kind of person. I like things to be quite natural, and if whatever comes, it's okay. If your shoes are a bit, it's okay. Let's shoot it. Chris is much more perfectionist than me. He has to be like, that plate has to go there.
No,
it's just
related.
different mentality.
กดเหรอ โอนาระ
なら
ยูโอนาระเหรอ
おならしてる
ไม่ได้ต
の
ด
おお痛いな
กลับบ้านเถอะ
It's the worst beaches in Thailand. And the dead dog incident where the girl thought he farted. Because she smelled something bad. He said, "Did you fart?" That was when I remember I was courting one girl. I went out with one girl. It was early in our relationship. So and we went to the beach. This one really ugly beach. And then we were reading on the beach. She was reading, I was reading. And then suddenly she turned around to me and said, "Did you fart?" And then I said, "What?" No. She said, and I said, "Yeah, did you smell or farted?" "Yes, I did. I do. I'm smelling it now." And then we were blaming each other, who fart, or maybe that German guy there fart, right? And then this dead dog floating interview, like it's like a film. Fortissimo film, Fortissimo has been a friend for a long time. They distributed my second film. That's how we get to know each other. They saw a film called 69 and they liked it. So they asked me if they would be the sales agent for me, And in Thai cinema, we never have sales agent before, Ours was the first, and I thought, why not, just. And then, after that, then Monrak, he also was our sales agent, and then Wouter fancied the idea of becoming a producer himself. He thought, which is natural. He's surrounded himself for so many years with all the films that is quite good. That are quite good. All the Wong Kar-wai films. Also, So he set up a company called Bohemian Films. Which is a company it's between it's American money and Japanese, I think. And they are the ones who pull the funding together. And I think they got the funding not because pretty much of the script or because of me. I think it was pretty much of the package of me directing and Chris Daw shooting and Asano playing. In the three players, I'm probably the least well known, the least marketable factor. But it was sold on the basis that that Chris and Asano and I are working together. So nobody read it. I mean, people read the investors read the script, but nobody wanted to make any comment, or nobody. I don't think they couldn't understand it. Normal script, like 80 pages and things, a bit shorter than normal script. But some people make some comments and things, and I said, well, some comments are fair enough, and they get me to think on some other ideas. I would change it, but otherwise, it's just a comment. I don't have to change it. But nobody bothered me at all. I shot the film like I made this film like I make the film with my mother's money. Nobody bothers me. No producers bother me. They come onto sets, but they come more or less to help, to watch and to help. If you need more translators, if things. So it was. I think in the light of the producers of this film, and there were 6 or 7 of them. I think in the light of them, they were more like wanted to see that Chris and I and Asano were happy throughout the making of the film, and they believed that if these 3 people were happy and everyone else on the crew was happy, they would get a decent film, I think. Because I don't know, filmmaking is okay, you go through the things like you write a good script, you get a good cast, you get a good DP, you edit it well, you shoot it well, all those things are basic requirements of good movie. But I think you also have to make movies with people you like, because you have to be together for months. And it's when you like the people you work with, when you like each other, you kind of trust each other. It takes a film much further than the script. You don't want to shoot a script. You don't want to shoot the script and end it up like a script. I don't think it would be that good.
さようなら
さようなら
สวัสดีหรือลาก่อนではまた後で
ではまた後で
She's studying Japanese to go to Japan, right? But, well, those are the things that happen around me every day when I live in Bangkok. I mean, you go to these cocktail lounges and things, you hear all these Thai girls. They're from Isan. Isan is the northeastern part of Thailand where they're almost Laos. So they speak Laos. So they speak different dialect, But then when they work in these Japanese clubs, they wear kimono. But they're so dark, because they're from northeastern. They wear kimono and they have to say, "Sumimasen." You have to speak Japanese. And they don't know what it means. But the owner of the restaurant makes them speak it, because this is where the Japanese receive the customers or say farewell to the customers. So these things always fascinated me, and a lot of times I have to hear a lot of the maids speaks English, because they take care of some expat kids, and so you hear this broken English, broken Japanese, and broken Thai spoken by the Westerners all the time. I always loved it, I always thought it was fascinating, and I thought, wow, this would be this film will be the art of subtitling in different countries, because when it was shown in Thailand, you don't have to subtitle the Thai part, right? You subtitle the English part and the Japanese part. But when you show in festivals, the English part most of the time is okay. But the fact that they spoke so bad English, some English has to be subtitled also. But when it's shown in Japan, when it's released in Japan next year, it'd be great because the Japanese part won't have to be subtitled, but they have to subtitle the Thai part in Japanese and the English. So that's why it's always a nightmare for me to go to festival with this film, because I always wonder which print did they send to the festivals, because it's the first time in my life that I make a film this way, and I love it.
What did it teach you?
To work quite light, to respond to things that's in front of you, and things. Because you see, I come to make films by way of probably advertising. I was trained in commercial. I never went to film school or anything. So a lot of it, I watch videos and I read books and things, and I get my hands-on experience by doing advertising. When you do advertising relies on everything has to be very obvious and interesting. And you have the fact that you have only 1 day to shoot something or 2 days to shoot something, and you can't come back. You have to be so well planned. You have to know exactly what you want. Most of the time, the actors you get to work on commercials are not real actors. They're just you, again, that guy on the street, yeah. So you have to know exactly what to do. So in a way, I was from that kind of system of filmmaking, or that school of filmmaking. Advertising is a great place to learn discipline. Shooting, okay, you can be crazy about anything, you can be poetic about anything, you can be loose about something, but film shooting is, especially if you work under budget, which most of the time we have to do, you have to be very efficient, and advertising has taught me efficiency. Today you have to achieve 7 pages of the script. You have to eat up 7 pages. We eat up 7 pages, or if we don't, we eat up 5. Tomorrow, instead of doing 6, you have to do 8, and we can do that. It's an efficient way of working. You know, advertising has that. When I get to make a feature film, I always try to do things that I can't do in advertising. You know, advertising, every shot has to be interesting. So that's why you have all these weird camera angles, and, you know, and just a simple shot of a guy picking up a glass to drink and put it down would have 17 cuts, you know, like from this underneath, and when you drink you have to place the camera in the water, and you know, slow motion, and you know, and on and on. So for me, when I get to make a feature film, I would try to do very much the opposite of what you know. I never particularly enjoy shooting very much. I love writing script and editing. I love editing. I think like most directors. But this film actually made me enjoy shooting very much, and you know, and shooting becomes painting to me. This film, someone's like, okay, we go out and paint, and it'll be fun to do. And with all the arguments that you have with Chris Doyle every day on the sets, you know, and things, and that, it became kind of like, it opened up a new sort of way to look at filmmaking to me, and I enjoyed very much. I love the music. Well, the guy who composed the music is a friend of mine, and he lives like 2 doors away from my house. So I thought it was convenient. I didn't think it was particularly good, but I thought it was easy. So I show them just the first 20 minutes of the film. You know, there are 2 guys doing music. I show them the first reel without any music and just the dialogue. And I said, I have absolutely no idea what to do with music. Just whatever you want to do, just do it. I don't care, you know. But my only requirement would be that when the music comes, the audience should notice it. And when it's gone, the audience should notice it. They should just feel it when it's there already. And that was my only requirement. Yeah, but the style of it, anything, I didn't really care. I thought, you know, I had no idea. I thought, just go ahead and do it. By the time we came around to do the music, I was at the point where I love so much making films that you don't really know what you want, and you find the film along the way. In a way, Chris Doyle taught me this along the shooting. You know, that if you don't panic, it might be all right. You know. I like happy ending film very much. You know. I do. I'm a pessimist. You know, I look at the world in the worst possible light. You know, and I never have, you know, good things to say about our government. And you know, and every time I enter a relationship, I always wait for the day that it'll fail. You know, you know, I go out and make a film, and I waited for the day that, you know, I would screw it up. You know, I won't be able to pull it off this one. You know, they all would know that the last 3 or 4 was a fluke. That's the way I function in life. You know, but for some strange reason, I'm not the extreme pessimist. You know, I always find there's hope, and I always think there's always hope somewhere. Somebody made a comment which I thought was quite true. I was not aware of it. It was that at the end of the film, this is a film where the actor becomes the girl, and the girl becomes like the actress becomes like a guy. because Kenji is very feminine, you could say, and also just inside the feeling of him. You look at him and you want to take care of him. I mean, obviously, also played by Asano. Many girls want to take care of him. Any film you make tends to be bad. It's so easy for a film to go bad than to go good. Because the film to be good, I think every element has to be so right. Every element has to be so right and at the right time. Then you have a good film. But for a film to go bad, only one thing has to be bad, and it goes bad. So every film has potential to be more bad than good, I think. And especially when the films that I make, I always want to make the film that I don't know whether I can pull it off or not. So that makes it even harder. And it's lonely because your producers don't understand. I mean, your crew, I mean, some of your crews, they don't understand what you're doing. So I think it's easier when you have a few people that want to take this trip with you, not because of the money you pay them, not because of that they think the film will be in Venice or whatever. That's all of that is, it's just beyond our control. But I think Last Life has the people who wanted to be together, and I think then it makes the journey not so lonely. It makes it more
Sharing the way.
yeah, and for me it makes it more fun. Even if Last Life didn't turn out the way it did, even if it becomes a bad film. Well, we knew there's no way it would be a bad film. We knew it. I have enough experience to control a film, and I know what's bad, so I wouldn't do that. Chris has enough experience, far more than me, to make sure things are not bad. Asano's. So we knew that it would not be bad for sure. But even if the film didn't turn out so good, or not as it is, less than par, this experience would still be worth a lot, a lot more than you could ask. And for me, that's filmmaking.